Good evening, good day, good night, good morning, wherever you are in the world. We have a very, very extra special podcast for you this evening. And forget about the number, which number it is, but it's an extra special one. It's hot off the presses. And before I go any further and get lost, and my two co-hosts with the mostest tell me, shut it, Reels. Let me introduce them first. We have Andreen from Soli Tennis Travel. And this week we get a special, very special shout out to our co-host Janina. She has worked tirelessly to bring us an extra, extra special guest this evening. Hi, Janina.
Hello.
You get a toot for that too. So,
And you introduced yourself.
and Janina and myself, Reels, I keep forgetting all the time. But Janina, why don't you introduce our special guest this evening and let us? Oh no!
Tonight we have.
Hold on,
Yes.
who is at the door? Right. Yeah.
We have a lovely guest with us today from the ATP Tour. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi guys, I'm Sergiy Stakhovsky. Thank you for inviting. I'm not sure I'm very lovely, as you say. I believe on Twitter it's more a negative perspective, but thank you for kind words.
Well, thank you for finally saying yes,
That's
because
probably
let's
a
be
good
honest,
place.
I've been begging you for months.
It's not really begging. It's just I'm sorry, but sometimes the messages getting lost in the Twitter line. I mean, it's
I
just
know.
sometimes
Apparently.
it's so long. Yeah.
And you're
Well-
very popular on Twitter, so people send you messages all the time, I imagine.
No, I would say yeah, but it depends what kind of messages you judge as a popular.
Uh-oh. Well, let's
So
dig
it-
right in.
So before we go any further, Sergey, let's just verify. Are you the real Sergey Stakhovsky?
No, I'm just a fake one. I'm just playing with you here. All.
So could you drop the Ukrainian accent quickly, please? Let's hear
Of
the real.
course, if you want, but I can do only Russian.
Okay.
Oh dear.
I love
That's
it.
probably not a good
So-
thing right now.
Yeah, probably
Yeah,
not. You don't
exactly.
want to be Russian.
Mm-mm, no, Sergey,
No.
no. Mm-mm. Can you
Not
do
at all.
Spanish? No Spanish. Can you do
No.
English?
Stop
I
that.
can try do a bit British, but
Okay,
I'm
that
not
might
really good
work.
at it.
That might work.
All right.
So,
No, he has a lovely accent on his own.
yes, you do. So I think the first thing we should do is, before we go into the bigger questions of the day, is why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself,
Well,
who you are, and beyond the man behind Twitter.
well, there's a tennis player behind the man behind the Twitter,
Okay.
just trying to play as the best of his knowledge, working daily to improve, and being really happy to be where I am, where I was, and where I can be, thanks to tennis and thanks to the people I meet and thanks to the parents and friends. And I'm actually quite a happy person, you would say, actually.
How long have you been playing tennis?
Since I'm 6, but it's kind of, when we all start, we start in a group of kids where like 50 or 60 kids, you're hitting against the wall for a couple of years. So I cannot really say that I started playing more or less professionally tennis when I was 13, 14, I would say. That's where I became a part of a smaller group of like 6, and that's where it got a bit more kind of professional.
And
And
this
you're
is all
30?
Yeah, I'm 30 now. Yeah, I'm old. Jeez,
You're getting
30.
old, man.
apparently no.
Yeah.
30 is the new ATP
The new-
25.
Yeah, well, yes. Back in the day, being 30, you were like, "What are you still doing here?"
Yeah, go
At the
home.
moment, I'm 30 right now. It's like, "Oh, you're still young."
Exactly.
Right?
You could win a major. You
Yeah,
you have your whole
Yeah.
career ahead of you.
You
yeah,
can take the
that
stand
looks like
path.
it.
So you are part of the ATP Player Council. Can you talk to us a little bit about how it works? Because I don't think people really understand the structure of it.
Well, it's pretty simple. The ATP Tour is a joint venture of the players and the tournaments, which means the tournaments are represented by the 3 representatives, the board members, and then the players are represented by 3 representatives as a board members. And then there's 1 president. So there's 7 people who are actually running the ATP in a voting, procedures. If you want to change something, or if you want to increase or decrease or create new tournament, take away. So basically it's it's like a board of members which is running the ATP. Now, the players board has an advisory board of the council, which means we're trying to, see the best of our knowledge to what is better for the players, better for the tour and for the sport, and we advise our board members to vote accordingly to our views. Now the counselors, which are 10, they represent the vast majority of the players, which means you have 2 representatives from 1 to 25 in singles, then you have 25 to 50, you have 50 to 100, you have at large, and then you have doubles representatives. So in total we have 10 players, active players, and they are elected every 2 years for a term of 2 years. It's purely voluntarily. There's no financial payment for the job, so you're just basically killing your time trying to do something better. Boring, huh?
No, I don't like to hear
No.
free, working for free.
Oh, you don't like the word free? Well, it is a free. So yes, and we as a counselor, we got some information from our board, and then we try to filter it down to our constituencies, which we represent, and had their feedback, what they think, and how we should vote and how we should proceed.
How often do you all meet?
Well, this year it was 3 times, and we have a last meeting in Wimbledon because our term expires, and it depends whether we get re-elected or somebody new comes. So it's
And you're voted in by
election
players?
year. Yes, you voted in by players from the category where you actually ranking is. So at the moment I'm at large because I was out of top 100 at the moment of the bailouts. So I'm voted at large, which means players from 100 and above are voting for me or any other player which is nominated.
Do you hope to stay on the council?
I wouldn't mind, but
know.
honestly, it's very demanding, it's very challenging, and it's very time-consuming matter.
Now,
There goes
I have a
Andreen.
question. Do you think, in some ways that? Sorry.
Hello.
Andrew, you disappear your question.
I've got as dodgy internet.
Well,
I think a question probably is, and you could give another one if it's not the right one. Do you think it's the responsibility perhaps for like the top player? For example, at this current moment, it's Novak Djokovic, and it's been a while since top players sort of like keep that position for like a while. Like it's never been, ATP doesn't really rotate the #1 position. So you think it would be advisable that the top player, since he's the head honcho, has more political power, he should be on the council?
Well, there were times where Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal, both of them were on the council. So Roger stepped down 2 years ago, and we have Wawrinka at the moment.
Really?
So yeah, Wawrinka is in the council, along with Gilles Simon.
Yeah.
So it's not that there's always a representative of the top squadron, let me say that. Nevertheless, I do know that because the council is a kind of that we do get the information first, or we do get the meetings, but the information which is need to be treated and acted upon is definitely going through the #1, #2, #3, #4. So which means it's not going unnoticed. So they are informed, they know what we're doing, and they know what we're trying to do and what we should not do. So we definitely know their position on every issue we are voting.
Oh, okay,
but do you feel like maybe did more get accomplished when Federer was the president? Do
Of
people
course we
listen to him more?
Well, of course, it's a significant difference when you have a Roger Federer as the president of the council, and then he goes into the room with, I don't know, U.S. Open negotiating prize money increases instead of, I don't know, me or anybody else in the council doing the same job. I mean, it's almost impossible for us to achieve what Roger helped us to achieve.
All right.
So you think a difference would perhaps no? Do you feel that
Would
the top guy Novak?
Of course,
different?
we're talking about the top 4, and
Yeah.
yes, it's a significant difference whether they are in the room or they're not in the room. Of course it is. It's no questions.
So it would be important to try to get them to be in the room, no?
Well,
Do you think it's
as far as
but
I know,
it's,
I
it's
think
pretty busy, huh?
Well, the thing is that every 2 years everybody goes out and everybody gets vote in or somebody else. So it's not like only one position opens every 2 years.
Yeah.
So
you can change.
I think this year Novak is nominated, and which if he's nominated, which means he accepted, because you have to confirm you're a pro
Okay.
ATP member, and They say, well, look, you've been nominated. If you will be elected, do you want to do the job, or you just don't want to be on the bailouts at all? So he is on the list, which means he accepted. So at least.
Well, I hope he gets voted, because I think that also helps create a legacy, no?
Well, it is better when you have a number one in the world being in a council, because it definitely have a different value and different impact on topics when we're discussing something.
And typically what they say goes, right? Like when they go to the board meeting and say, well, we want this, people start doing something and not just like, okay, we'll put it on the list.
Well, believe me, it's never like people start doing something, okay? It's always a long term. It's the system is very, I wouldn't say broke. I wouldn't say broke. It's just hard because we're elected for 2 years, and let me say the board members from the tournament side are there for 20 years. Which means
Oh yeah.
Well,
That's
because
different,
the tournament owners, they don't change. Let me say the owners of Miami's IMG for the past 20, 25 years or whatever it is. Which means the players, they change Sappers, they change Agassi, Safin, Hewitt, everybody's already quit. And the tournament owners are still the same.
I'll get you.
And you're rotating, when you're rotating and you have an issue that's going to take a while, and just as it maybe is getting some movement, your 2 years are up. Yeah.
Yeah, you are out, and then the new blood comes in, and then they start to feed them with the same bollocks they start to feed us in the beginning. So
before you figure it out. So what are some of? I know. So what are some of the key? What are some of the key issues you're working on right now? Your top 3 issues that you'd love to see some movement on.
Well, we actually did quite a lot already. This year was a big. We had a huge discussions about the Olympics and the terms of Olympics and the timing. And I'm not sure I can disclose everything from our meetings, but the Olympics were a significant topic this year because of the points, because of the scheduling, because of the Sunday start when we requested Monday. It was a lot of conflicts there because we have 2 Master Series in between. There's Olympics. It's very hard for the players. It's a 10-hour flight. It's it's a lot of energy. And it's going to be a very hard season this year. From the achievements, I think the 16 qualies and 250s, we were pushing hard for it for the past 14 months, and we achieved it. And I think although it cut me out somewhere now, but I still believe it's a good thing. It's better for the sport. It's becoming more professional, and you actually don't play tennis for free anymore.
Except in the Olympics.
Well, Olympics, yes. But still, you get some. My point was not that you play for free. When you come to the 250 tournament, you play the first round before, and you get 0 points and 0 money. Which meant you spend you still have people in the crowds. This is better for the tournaments. They can see who is entering. They can kind of advertise the qualifying draw. Even they can have some good names in the draw. They can say, well, look, the qualifying starts on Saturday, on Sunday. It gives more space for the tournaments because there's only 8 matches on day 1 and 4 matches on day 2 instead of 16 and 8 and 4. So there's more practice facilities for the main draw players. The tournaments are happy. The players are happy. In general, it's more professional.
And just another quick question about this: what's your relationship with, say, the WTA folks? Do you all, their player councils, do you meet with them occasionally too, or no?
Well, not on my watch, which means I was 4 years in the council. We have never met with the WTA council. Although we tried, I remember.
Really?
Yeah, I think I did actually talk to council member of the WTA. I think Safarova was on the WTA council at some point. Okay. So I did talk to her, but it's never really a joint meeting. No.
Do you think that would be beneficial if it were?
Well, it depends. I don't know how the WTA council run, how the atmosphere is in there, because I don't know. I cannot judge.
All right. Well, since we kind of streamlined into the women, sometimes you like to say something, Sergey. And we just want to give you the opportunity to clarify because, let's be honest, a lot of your conversations on Twitter end with, you seemingly being a little aggravated and saying, we can't talk about this here because 140 characters isn't enough, which is correct. But here, you can say whatever you want.
And there's no time limit.
Yeah, and then it's going to be somebody hitting the repeat button and just roll over it again every time, huh?
Actually, they have to get our permission in order to take any slices of what we say. So
we're not going to allow that.
We're not going to allow it at all.
Let's talk about equal pay.
Yeah, what's your challenge with that?
First of all, before we get into equal pay, let's just qualify, because very often men like to start off with, I like women, I know women, I have a wife, I have a mother. So you have a sister, I have a daughter. So do you have any of those? It qualifies.
I have a wife, I have a mother, I have a daughter. I don't have a sister, unfortunately. Well, I have a sister-in-law now, thanks to my wife. So I'm actually full spect.
You're a feminist on the ATP standard. Congratulations.
Well, I mean, what do you mean a feminist?
Don't even that. No.
Let's not go there.
Let's not go there. Let's just get straight into the I mean, you don't have to claim feminism. You know what I think he's suggesting is that sometimes people just say they're feminists just because they are married. They have a wife, so that makes them a feminist. They love women, so it's silly.
Okay. Well, then I have to confess I'm a huge feminist because I do love my wife.
There you go. So let's could you just unpack some of the things a little bit about equal pay? Because it always comes down to a discussion about revenue generation, and then what? Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. For me, equal pay is something. They saying that equal pay is equality, but for me, equality stands for something completely different than equal pay.
What does it stand for you then?
Well, for me, equality is equal rights, equal opportunity. I mean, equal treatment in a society, in a world. But I don't see the equality, and which leads to equal pay, because then we're creating not equality, we're creating a something which somebody's gonna get, not because he deserved it, but just because of equality of male and woman. Of male and female. For me, if let me say, I don't know, I'm not playing tennis. I'm a regular. I work in government. I do 9 hours in office, and I have a colleague next to me, and she's a female, and she works same 9 hours. I don't see why I should get more money for this job if we're doing the same job.
Sure.
If we're, I don't know, office workers. We do, I don't know, accounting or something. I don't see why we should get paid less or more based on gender. Based on performance, I agree. If, let me say, I had a conversation with another tennis player. I said, okay, we both graduate from, I don't know, Harvard Law School. We go to the same law firm. We had exactly the same scores on our final exams. We start with the same money in our salary. And then through the year, I was having fun. I was going out, and I was finishing my day at 5 at work. I worked properly, and then I was going out. I was, living the life of whatever I could. And then the other guy, he was, going out meeting another firms, colleagues, trying to create a network for himself. And then he bring clients into the firm, and he created business opportunities for the firm. And then at the end of the year, the owners of the firm are going to say, okay, so Mike, you're going to get increase, and Sergey, you're going to stay where you are. And I'm going to go say, wait. We finished the same school, we have the same scores, we work the same hours. Why he's getting increase, and I'm staying on the same salary? It's not fair. Where's equality?
But I'm confused by that, because what are you counting as work in tennis? I mean, is it simply just the number of sets played, the number of hours on court?
No, I don't. I don't go. It's like, I don't know. Why should, let me say, if we're talking equality, a Ukrainian football team. Let's take national team. Let's take Dynamo Kiev, my favorite football team. Why, in average, they are earning 20% of Bayern Munich? They spend the same amount of time on the pitch. Same twice a week. They spend same amount of time practicing. They do exactly everything, but they earn only 20% of Bayern Munich. Why? Where is equality in this?
So can I, if I'm hearing you right, what you're saying is you are a proponent for equal pay.
No,
that's not what he's saying.
I'm a proponent that we are in a business of entertainment, which means if Bayern Munich is one of the best clubs in the world and the brand is significantly higher and they sell more t-shirts, they have full stadiums, I don't know. The value of the Bayern Munich is just significantly higher than the value of Dynamo Kiev, and that's why they pay their players more, because they generate more money.
Okay, fair enough. I agree with that.
I'm not saying. Let me finish. I'm not saying that women should get paid less. I think that women should get paid more than they're paid now, but it doesn't have to be connected to the men. The women have to go and explore whatever the market offers them, then monetize that market and bring it back to the prize money. But
I don't
whatever. Yes, go on.
That's confusing though for me, because in some ways you have joint events, right? So you both reflect the field of tennis, and in some ways you can't always make that distinction between who's drawing people to a sport. You know, it's like, I mean, Serena might draw someone to a sport more than, say,
Roger Federer,
Gilles Simon or something.
Why?
No,
okay,
but I'm saying,
but
like,
you're comparing Serena Williams to Gilles Simon. Compare Gilles Simon to somebody ranked as him in WTA.
Okay, I will do that. But what I'm trying to figure out is, why is it okay for your tour to benefit from essentially the greatness of Federer and Rafa, and that rationale is fine for you because you're the same gender, but it's not okay for Serena to benefit from Federer, even though you're all a part of tennis.
Well, it's
why
like,
can't it be a sort of joint growth?
Well, take a best woman striker in the football and then ask why she's not earning the same money as Messi.
Well, that's different.
Well,
because,
because in the U.S. it's very different, because here, soccer, the women far outweigh the men, and yet they're still getting paid less. So it doesn't always translate purely into economics like that. You know, women's soccer is far more popular in the U.S., but the women's tour gets very little support.
Well,
so
I actually read about that. Yeah, I read about that actually. Yeah. No, but
so, you know what I mean. So there's a kind of historical grounding that makes that a little bit difficult. But I mean, I do understand your point, but I think one of the things that people introduced around equal pay a long time ago was that it wasn't necessarily about sort of revenue generation. It was about a kind of a value judgment. We were going to place a value on both tours. We were going to grow both tours together. Sometimes the men are popular, and sometimes the women are popular.
But we don't have a WTA/ATP tour. We have a WTA tour, we have an ATP tour. It's separate tours. So the joint tournaments, unfortunately, are not on the wish list of majority of the tennis players.
Both men and women?
No. On an AT, I cannot reflect the women. I don't know what the women think. I mean, I don't represent the women. But I can represent. Sure. I can tell you what I represent in the men. So it's not on the wish list of the men. But
they like tournament.
You're not fans of Madrid, perhaps?
Yeah.
No, not fans of Madrid, not fans of Rome. It's just in a pure concept of it. There's not enough practice courts. It's a mess with the hotel. It's a mess with. It's just in general. It's very hard just to start, it's a very hard event to organize from just organizational point of view. So
you like it when the tours are separate, yeah.
But for the tournaments, it's very beneficial to have both, because they do the same event. They just spend less money on renting the venue, and all that stuff. It just cuts in half. So for the tournaments, of course, it's very, very lucrative to have a joint event.
Right, but the players suffer somewhat.
Yes, on both sides, not only on ATP, but also on WTA.
Yeah, that makes sense. You brought up just a quick question there, because you brought something up about practice courts and whatnot. I'm just curious. There's this kind of concept that floats around that when you are a lower ranked player, you have a hard time even getting a practice court. Is this an accurate?
Of course. Of course it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to deal with it. There's, in Paris you have the seed players, you have the winners, you have the top four, then you have the French, and then you have the rest of the players. USA, you have the same. You have the top four, you have the Americans, and then you have the rest of the players. So, of course,
So you're telling me you don't get a spot before Jack spot?
No, you have, okay, let's put it that way. You have the four, then you have the seeds along with Americans, but then of course you have first 16 seed and then the other 16 seed. Then you have the rest of the world. Plus, you also still could put in there the winners who was winning or playing the finals, or number ones who fell out and they're far away, of course. So there's a lot of really, Grand Slams is a really pain in the ass to get a court. Get a court where you're two on court with another player who's playing main draw to hit for 45 minutes, almost impossible in a normal time. So you have to either come at 8 in the morning or you have to say 6 in the evening.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Or go to a private club, maybe.
But no, the courts are not the same, I think.
Exactly.
That's been an issue.
Yeah.
I know particularly at the U.S. Open, I think it is, the courts are different. The practice courts are different from the playing court. In fact, I've actually even seen a player went on one of the further like court 13 on one of those far obscure court to practice instead of using the practice courts.
Yeah, well, they're significantly faster usually in US Open in a park than they are in a stadium. So there is a significant difference.
Oh.
You're kind of screwed.
I'm definitely screwed. So what is your favorite tournament? What is your ideal tournament?
Australian Open.
Why?
Well, from the organization perspective, lots of courts, great facilities. They're really player friendly in every aspect. If it's a transport, if it's the spa, you need to get driven somewhere else than the hotel. In every aspect, pretty much every time you ask in Australia, it's a yes more than a no.
Do you have a least favorite tournament? Come on, Sergey.
You can put them in different criteria. You're like less player friendly. The least prize money. Least prize money, and then you have not so many tickets for players on the match. There's different criteria where Australia is kind of the only minus they have is that the Australian dollar is really now in a bad spot, and it's like almost the smallest prize money Grand Slam.
You got to explain. Is that why Shanghai gets voted such a popular tournament? Does all of those things well? Takes care of the player.
Yes, they really did. They built up a significant tennis stadium there. Of course, it was for the Masters, and everything what they do there is really top notch. But I have to say that a lot of our tournaments, not only that Shanghai's, Indian Wells is great. The improvement in Indian Wells is just fantastic. They're building stadiums like they're growing trees out there. And the practice facilities are increased, and the gym. Everything. You have a lot of tournaments which are moving forward because they are trying to bring more value to the sport because they understand that they benefit from it more. You have a lot of tournaments which are just trying to scrape in and hold on just because they have the category and they're behind everybody, but they don't care because they know at the end of the day they have a very strong field and they will sell these tickets. So the problem is that not every tournament really willing to push forward. Majority of the tournaments want to stay where they are. They don't want to increase the prize money because they know that the model which is set is beneficial for them, and they don't want to change anything.
I have a question. Go ahead, Andre.
No, I was going to ask about sort of your ability to get tournaments to kind of fall in line as members of the council. We had a player here talking about a tournament that he competed in, and he never got paid.
Yeah,
the tournament sort of disbanded briefly.
Challenger in.
Yeah, it was a challenger in Brazil.
Sao Paulo.
Yeah.
In Sao Paulo. It just didn't seem as if there were any recourse for the player.
Well, believe it or not.
It doesn't.
Well, I know that ATP paid every player, I think, $1,500, $1,000. I'm not as a whatever expense. The only big problem is that the ATP have the money to cover all those prize money which are not paid.
Thank you very much. Hold on, let me give. Thank you very much.
But legally, they cannot do it. That is the problem, because the system of ATP and the system where the ATP is registered in states, and they cannot pay the player unless it's a prize money from the tournament, and they cannot pay out of our funds, which we have. I don't know, the pension fund or any other fund, or we generate money through the year. They cannot pay out of this money just legally. I'm not a lawyer, but we've been talking about this a lot, and there's just a procedure which cannot let us through. So they would love to pay the players, but we cannot. We have to wait until the court is going to finish with this tournament, and because he applied for bankruptcy, and then, I mean, I know it's long, and I know that a lot of players are frustrated, and a lot of people in ATP are frustrated too, but we are aware of it, and we are trying to solve it. It's not that easy.
There is no insurance?
Well, I think since then, every challenger has to pay the prize money to the ATP in advance. So if
that was what they were supposed to do.
Yeah, but they did not, because they had apparently there was a mistake somewhere within ATP, which we don't know whether it was or not, and we will never find out. But I believe that the tournament was on a very good stand and very good history with the ATP, so they give them like a delayed payment, and they actually never paid. Yeah.
Well, you know what? It's nice to know that you sit on the Players' Council and you are aware of this, and that it isn't just sitting there dead on someone's desk.
No, it's not.
I think maybe you should put out a little information, because what Jerry was getting, the player he was getting, was nothing. Absolutely nothing was coming from the ATP. They were just like, go talk to the tournament director. You should call him up. You want his number? Go find him. It's your.
Well,
so that's very frustrating.
I think it's slightly over-exaggerated from the player side, because I know that I'm not the only one aware of this thing, and that people in ATP were aware of it, and they were trying to work it out. So I would hardly believe that they were sending him to call the tournament director and ask the money from him. But I know that if I would be in his position, of course I would be frustrated greatly, because we pay the membership fees and we expect the ATP to take care of us. And in this particular case, it was not the case, unfortunately. And I believe it's still, in the end, it will be solved.
Good. Let's hope so. So can we talk a little bit about the scandals that have hit tennis this year? It seems like tennis as a whole is just not in a very good place. We've got match fixings. We've got top players coming out saying they failed drug tests. I mean, what's your thought on all of this?
Well, you had a silent period. You had a silent period, and then you decided to release all your scandals in 1 year.
Yeah.
No, but
one of your players' coach killed somebody.
Believe me. I'm not sure if he's been tried already, so you cannot say that he did.
Well, allegedly.
Allegedly he was arrested, but allegedly and saying that he did is actually a significant difference.
Those are really
I take those back. He allegedly killed someone.
Allegedly, actually, I know the person who was murdered, unfortunately, and it's a shocker. And from what I heard, his daughter found his body. it's a really bad story. But let's go to somewhere better.
More pleasant, like match fixing.
Let me say, yes, more pleasant match fixing. We had this topic in Australia. During the council meeting in Australia, we were told that there's a huge scandal coming in, that there's a huge BBC did a huge investigation, that they're gonna say names, and we were actually happy. We said, great, let's put it out there, let's put the names, let's ban the players, let's prove that they did it, and let's get over it.
Nice.
But what actually happened, it was just pure blowing smoke. Allegedly this, allegedly that, and this match looked weird, and the odds on this match were wrong, and on this match it was too much money put in. Really? Is this really BBC doing this? It's more like Yellow Pages than investigative journalism to me.
Well, I mean, and they've come back again though. They've come back again,
and they will come back again before Wimbledon, and they will come back before.
And you know, because you're anticipating that they will do something before Wimbledon.
But I would actually love them to bring in some names, to bring in some real evidence. All they do is they try to turn apart the image of the ATP and the integrity unit. I'm not the big fan of the integrity unit.
We aren't either. Why aren't you?
Because I know how much money it costs us, and I know the results are not really there. But on the other
there's
hand,
no value for that.
Well, there is value because they do. The problem is they don't have enough authority, in general authority, because they're not police, they're not Interpol, they're not Europol, they're not, I don't know, CIA, FBI, whatever.
They're just 3 men in an office collecting a paycheck.
No, well, they do investigate, they do interrogate, they do ban some players which are 500, 600, 700. They got a bit better. But my problem with all of that is that, match fixing, is it there? Yes, maybe it is. Can we prove it? Can somebody prove it? Well, I think police could, or somebody could.
Well, they could have helped the Italians prove it. The Italians were requesting information from the ATP the last go around, and that didn't get any traction.
The thing is that when they say that the tennis integrity unit blowed under the table a lot of cases which were alerting, is a pure bollocks. Because the information which, when I was reading these articles, it was coming from the betting companies, that they were saying there's too much money here, there's too much money there. At the end of the day, the betting company making money either way, either the odds are bad or good, they're making a huge chunk of money. And to say that this guy is guilty because there was too much money put on that match is wrong. Because, I'm sorry, I went a couple of times on court, not 100% fit. Mm-hmm. Or actually, I went on court and I got hurt on court, and I still finished the match. And then after the match, they were attacking me on the Twitter and everywhere. Oh, I actually had a guy who verbally abused me in Vienna during the tournament. I lost to Karlovic 7-5, 7-6 against freaking Karlovic indoors. Yeah. And the guy comes to my bench when I pack my stuff and threatens me, my family, with whatever you can imagine, and wishes me all the nice things you can imagine. And that's right after I'm actually raging inside myself that I lost the match.
So did you report that?
I report that. I went to the ATP office. I was screaming, you cannot believe how much, because I said, where was the security when the guy was standing 1 meter from me and I was about to kill him? So, the problem with the betting is that as long as the matches are going to be on that betting sites, there will always be some controversy, whether it was fixed, it was not fixed, because gamblers, they like to gamble, and then when they lose, they like to say that they didn't lose, that the player actually cheated on them. Which, tennis is such a complex game. You look at today's French Open. Everybody can beat everybody. It just happens. The lucky loser passes 2 rounds in French Open. That I don't know.
He's talking about you.
So
no,
you think there's more?
Lucky loser.
No, you think there's more smoke than there really is there.
Of course there is. Of course there is, because we did significantly increase prize money, and because of that, it's very, very unlikely that a player who is within the top 100 would risk it all to make an extra couple, I don't know, dozen, or I don't know how much are they offering, but it just risking it all for one-time paycheck.
So the story has kind of been that this is a problem at the lower level of a tour then. So it sounds like you would, if it is a problem indeed, then it is going to be at the Challenger Futures level.
But look, who always comes up with this is the betting companies are complaining about this. If they don't like it, just cancel. Don't put the challengers on the betting sites. Yeah. It's not that hard. Why? So if they're complaining and they still provide this business, which means they don't care. Not that they don't care, they don't mind. Which means everything is fine for them. They just, instead of making $100 million, they make 90, and they're pissed because they just lost 10.
Yeah.
But Novak Djokovic in the middle of this scandal earlier this year, he said that someone approached not him, but approached one of his team members or somebody in his camp and offered $250,000 for match fixing.
I haven't read that. Where was this?
This happened
that was during the Australian Open.
Yeah, he mentioned it.
Conversation. He mentioned it.
He said this happened and multiple times, but at least in 2007, 2008.
Actually, I can say that it happened to me too. But I mean, it
wasn't that much money.
It was 100,000 for the first round of Australian Open.
And that's a lot of money.
What we're saying is that seems highly likely, though.
And that's tax-free.
Yes, tax-free. And back in the day, the first round when I was playing at the Australian Open I think it was 2009. 2009 or 10. 9, for sure 9. And the prize money back then were like 14,000 for the first round lose.
So that's like 6% more, 6 times more, 600% increase.
Yeah.
So I'm saying if someone approached you, why be so dismissive of the possibility that other people might have said yes instead of you and Djokovic that said no?
Well, I would say it's not impossible. I would say that back in the day, let me say that 7 years back or that 8 years back, it was more possible. And I'm quite sure that in these days, it's far less possible than it was back then.
Why?
Because, again, just this is according to my knowledge, I don't know. The limits on the matches, the betting companies, of course, size the limits. So you cannot really bet like $1 million on one match, I think, anymore. Or maybe you still can, I'm not sure, but I don't think so. Then the regulations within the international monetary, you cannot really bring in cash whenever you want anymore. Every country in the world are now controlling their cash flow, which means you cannot travel with $1 million to Australia.
You can't walk like, hey,
exactly. So there's a lot of things which are not helping these, match fixing buyers to fix the matches.
But in the advent of that, we've had significant technological advances. So we don't need to have actual $1 million in our hand. We can have it wired in like 2 seconds.
Yeah,
some offshore account somewhere.
Yeah, would you try? I mean, the probability is also there now because of this. A lot of people are talking about betting, and the players also, I think, are going to be scared to take the money because is it the correspondent? Is it the journalist? Is it real or not? It's
right.
Everything falls in, but I think that there's more of a smoke than the fire in this whole topic.
Fire. So what about? Okay, that's right. What about the introduction of this notion that around silent ban this week? Silent bans in tennis. It was one of those things where it was kind of like a rumor, a conspiracy theory that somehow I felt got confirmed this week that the ITF has now decided that they want to, if you have failed a test, that will no longer be something that has kept quiet. Even as you are going through even as the player is going to go through the process, but that has to be approved by the ATP and the WTA. That's just they've put out there this week.
I have no knowledge about this news. I didn't know about. I actually had no idea about the silent bans at all in the first place.
You've never heard the rumor that tennis has silent bans?
It was not a silent ban. It was that the ITF, or I think, let me say the Cilic case. Okay, they cannot send the word out that he's been tested positive. They have to approach him, and then it's up to the player whether he reveals it or not. And that's the only silence in all of this there is.
Well, apparently now they're saying that isn't going to be the way that it works anymore. They're considering saying so-and-so tested positive, and this is why they have been away from the game or will be away from the game, whereas, Cilic said he had an injury, and then when it was all said and done, oh, by the way, I tested positive, but I'm back.
I agree that they should do that. That would be more transparent for everybody, for the players, for the competitors, and for the spectators. But I think in the first place they need to clean up the mess that they created in the first place, which is now we're seeing really failing in what they have to do. I mean, if you just take the Russia doping facility where they apparently killed 5,000 urine samples and blood samples, and or change them with a clean one. I mean, we're really getting into somewhere where we're getting, and everybody says that sport is above political or it's without political. It's complete bollocks, because you just see how much sport is connected to the politics.
Yes.
Always.
Well,
So,
have you ever played a match and you felt like this person on the other side has got to be doing something? This is inhuman?
Jesus. I mean, in this, you mean doping ways? No.
Yeah.
I mean, no.
Speak the truth and
No.
shame the devil, Sergiy.
Well, so
No,
Sergiy,
honestly, no. Honestly, no, because I don't know. I actually never cramped in a match in my life. Maybe just because I'm lazy. But
you're not
You
putting
heard
that
it
much
here,
effort.
bro.
So Sergiy, so you in your mind though, the recent things that's happening around doping in Russia, you think that's politically motivated?
Well, I don't think it's politically motivated. I just think that it's politically, before it was politically motivated to get clean the athletes, which they wanted. Now everybody, Russia's biggest defense is everybody say we are bad, everybody's attacking us. They just do it because they want to, and there's nothing behind it. Well, actually, unfortunately, I have to say Russia is bad. And in every front, you're going to look at it right now, it is bad.
Right.
I'm Ukrainian, unfortunately. I'm maybe a little bit into it, and of course they attacked my country. They sized a part of my country and put it and joined it to Russia. They still terrorizing the eastern part of my country. And then they have this huge doping scandal which they had. I mean, yes, I'm actually thinking that they are bad in every aspect.
So I have a question. Did the ATP send out any word on Meldonium or Mildrenat?
Honestly, to be say with you, I think ATP doesn't send the notes. The WADA and ITF does. And every year in Australia, you collect. They give you this brochure where they show which substances were added. You received an email with the same information. I honestly never looked through it because I'm trying not to take anything in general. So at least this way I don't have to be scared that I take
You're
something.
taking the Burditch approach. I don't got to worry because I don't take nothing, so I got nothing.
So is it only just reading, though? Did you only have to read, or do the ATP sort of host like meetings?
No. There's no like surveys or something. There's nothing. You just you receive a note, and by receiving the note, you're kind of informed.
And you're acknowledging that you've been informed.
It's a kind of passive informing, like you're getting your email. So if you don't read it, you've screwed yourself. But no one's going to go the extra mile to let you know it was in there.
It's like receiving a tax tax invoice, and you don't pay it by post, and you don't pay it, and then you say, "Well, I didn't know." Well, we sent you a letter. Well, I didn't know. So.
But the email was sent out.
But not knowing is not a defense because it was sent. That's the tricky thing about that.
No, but the thing is, even not even sent. If they would even not send anything out, you're an athlete. You know that you're competing. You know that you are tested for doping, which means when you do take something, you have to be crystal clear that it has no substances which are prohibited. Every time I go to the pharmacy when I have a fever or something, I go there and I say, "Look, what can you give me which has nothing in it because I'm a sportsman?" And she stands there, and I take 600 of Voltaren or ibuprofen, and I go home and drink the blue pills. Because that's the safest bet.
Because you can't do anything. So but seriously though, as someone that's a part of the sport, but it's not your tour, what do you think has been the impact of Sharapova's testing positive? What's your sense of how that...
How did it happen?
No, not how it happened. Well, if you know, but how do you think it ricochets?
No, I don't know how it happened. I just have a guess that her team made a huge mistake by not following what WADA is changing.
Yeah.
In this year, that I definitely don't. I wouldn't blame Maria for doing that mistake, because let's be realistic. It's just impossible for her to follow whatever she was taking, because she practices, she eats, she has a diet, she has a dietologist, she has a doctor. So, I mean, those people are at fault and at blame for me. Because, let me say, if I, for some ridiculous matters, get tested positive, I'm going to blame my fitness coach. Although I know, really, I know everything I take, like magnesium and, I don't know, multivitamins and everything, and I actually look through it when we buy it, and we know this firm is producing for the Czech Olympic athletes, so it's a good company. But anyways, I'll blame him because he recommended me these things.
I love that you're being so honest right now.
Well, but do you think it damaged the image of the WTA in any way? Like to have someone that prominent test positive?
I would say it did damage the image of tennis as general, not just WTA. But on the other hand, it just proved everybody who was saying, oh, Rafa was positive, Djokovic was positive, or just forget the names, cut the names, because it just proves that there is no silence, there's no mystery behind it. The players are tested, and if they are positive, it's go out.
All right.
I mean, I have a question. I mean, you mentioned something that I think has come up very often, particularly in this Maria Sharapova case. Everyone seems to think that it isn't possible that she could have been doping, that she could have been intentionally doping.
Look, it's something different being doping and taking illegal substances. So, let's say up to the last year, she was not doping, although this Meldonium or whatever it called, I don't remember, may helped her. It could, because I'm sorry to say, because I think 95 athletes were tested positive on this substance.
Yeah, they all had heart conditions, I think.
Yeah, we all have heart conditions.
Low magnesium, family history of diabetes.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But I get your point, though. Your larger point was that it was legal. She was taking something that might have been helping her, but it was legal.
Yeah, it was most likely helping her, but it was legal. So it's not your fault that the law allows you to steal. Let me say it this way.
Or it's not your fault that the law that anti-doping is always going to be a little bit behind the 8 ball. It doesn't have the resources.
She said she took it for 10 years, right?
Yeah.
So it's not a bit behind.
No, but it's really behind. So think about that, Sergey. Think about it. You're taking something for 10 years, and then they finally figure out, hey, I think this might have some really, really positive effects. That's a long. Well, that's a big
I'm less inclined to think that she would stop if you're on this for 10 years.
No, it's not even about that. It's just it's a lag time. That's a 10-year lag time.
Well, I don't think they're so far behind, because I think they tested 13 athletes from London positive. 13 Olympic medalists from London were positive.
From 4 years ago. They just tested them, though, so that's a little bit behind.
But that's what I'm saying. So they caught up in 6 years, okay?
But you're laughing, but it's actually great that they're able to deliver a result 4 years later, because now those athletes who are taking doping, they're going to think twice.
Right.
They will know that they're going to strike them back. Yeah, they're going to strike it back, and they will lose everything they earned.
But not just even 2012. They've also just found some for
Beijing. 31 athletes. Yeah.
Dear Lord.
So
go ahead.
Can we just bring this back to you for a little while, because
I know.
I've been trying to avoid that.
I know. Looks like what? People want to know about this, and it's kind of, I'll be honest, it's kind of hard to ask you this, but I'm going to ask you that, because this is what we're here to do.
So that's
yeah, right. This is what I do. You have made some comments
I know where you're going.
Okay.
It's a one-way road. The thing is, I don't want you to put that. I don't want you to put that question. So just to put you in that position. So I'll explain myself in.
We're never afraid of asking the question.
Oh, she's not afraid. So make sure.
Okay.
Just ask the question.
Go on.
Okay, so you have said that you are quite sure that there are no gay men in the top 100 of the ATP, and that if there were, they would probably look a little bit different in the locker room, and you would be able to know, right? Is this? I mean, this is the quote that we see over and over again. Is this accurate? Take this moment to explain yourself, please.
Well, it was quite simple. The interview which took place, and in the audio of that interview, you could hear it. But the question was put that they asked me if there are any homosexual players in tour, and I said, well, I'm not aware of any. At least not in the top 100. I'm not aware of any, or out of top 100. I don't know any homosexual player, according to my knowledge. So I guess not, because unless we know about them, we cannot say that they are. It's like saying that, okay, with the God is a bit different because we don't know that it's faith, it's trust, it's something different. But it's like saying, I don't know, a police officer shot somebody, but we can prove it and we don't know about it, but we believe that he did.
We don't have any body.
Yeah, we don't have any body.
I mean, it's like 10%.
No,
what do they
look,
say? 10% of what? 1 out of 10. So at top 100, there's at least 10, generally speaking.
Yes, generally speaking. But do you have the names? I mean, just
I
anything.
don't have the name, and that's
Exactly.
frustrating me because
No,
that's
but
my
I
main
don't.
ticket.
Look. It's very simple for me.
Mm-hmm.
I was pushed in a corner because then the journalist asked another time, well, Navratilova is sure that there are some. I said, look, well, I don't. If she knows the names, let her bring the names because I don't know any. No, but she's sure that there's a lot in the top 100. I said, look, and then I got a little carried away. Of course, it was the WTA tour. Yeah, but that was a kind of pushed in a corner, and I do regret.
You thought it was a
comment.
setup question?
I wouldn't say it was a setup. It was just really annoying the way he was trying to get I mean, I was just trying. I never. You see the difference between me giving interview and let me say Rafa, Novak, Murray or somebody. I don't have anything which I don't need to hide anything. I don't need to be politically correct. I don't need to be, leading the sport.
That's
somewhere.
why we like you as a guest.
Exactly.
Because
Helpful.
I don't have the responsibility. I don't have the sponsors which are paying me multi-million dollars to be really, very politically correct, very good, and not damaging my image. So I don't damage theirs. It gives me freedom to say whatever I think I have to say, according to my knowledge.
So, I mean, I'll be honest with you. Some of the comments that came out that you read, and granted, they're clips and bits and pieces, but they make you sound a little bit homophobic.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I'm not.
Okay.
Oh no! Wait! Not unfortunately. Thank God I'm not. Jesus. Guys, my English is my third language, huh?
What else do you speak?
Bear in mind, Ukrainian,
Russian,
Czech, unfortunately Russian. Although my wife is Russian, so I'm actually fortunate that I speak. Otherwise, I wouldn't marry her. I mean, we wouldn't be able to talk. Czech, English, Slovak. I do understand completely everything in Polish. I can speak a bit of French. So it's a mixed match. But English is not my native, so I do apologize if I do some mistakes.
That's all right.
But you didn't. But you know what? One thing I think that people really wanted to know around that comment, I don't really care about whether you know or don't know. I think the question really is, do you think it would be a welcoming environment for somebody to feel like they could come out if they didn't have sponsors on their back?
No, but even I actually think that they would actually gain sponsors if they would come out.
I think so too.
I think so too. Especially if they have reels in the corner.
Exactly. No, but I mean, it's just I think they would gain sponsors if they would come out, and I don't think that there would be a different treatment for them in the locker room if they would be homosexual. I mean, at the end of the day, we all human beings, right? We all have morals, and why should I or somebody else in the locker room have a problem with somebody? It's his life, it's his choice, and he can do whatever he wants with his life. He can be homosexual, he can be transsexual, metrosexual, he can live. I mean, he can live alone. He can live in. I mean, it's according to every single person to do with his life whatever he wants. Is that correct?
I like it.
I mean, it is, and it's good to hear that. But there is just a general sense that certain sports would be toxic for homosexual players, like football, basketball. I mean, a lot of group sports.
I mean,
soccer. I mean, other professional sports is really a challenge when people come out. So I think that's why people were sort of pushing back your comments because they wanted to know that the environment might be safe.
Right. And I mean, because, realistically, there has to be players on the ATP who are gay. They have to be. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Statistically, no matter.
Yeah, but statistically, do you believe in God?
Me, personally?
Yes. Personally, you.
I don't know.
I believe in a creator. I don't believe in the word they call God. But yes, we believe someone created us.
So we believe or you believe? I don't answer for everybody, huh?
No, I do. For me, sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
I do.
Sometimes. Yeah, so you see, the thing is with believe, we believe in something which we cannot prove.
Sure.
Right? Which called faith. But but you cannot implement faith into saying, well, statistically, statistics is not fake.
Sergey, no need to, but I can tell you, if I get into the ATP locker room, I can prove.
Good. Let's go.
Letting you know.
Let's go.
So, Sergey, the other day there was a comment.
So, Janina, hold on. When you get back to the player council, that Realz is ready to bring some money to help them with some gay sponsors. Realz will tell you.
Okay.
I have some tests to conduct.
Go ahead, Janina.
The other day there was an exchange between you and someone on Twitter who had acknowledged you as the man who beat Roger Federer, and your response was, "Well, I won some titles too. Damn it, basically." I mean, what is that like though, being Roger Federer who he is, and then your name all of a sudden isn't Sergey, it's the man who beat Roger Federer.
At Wimbledon. Much, yeah. That's a big deal.
Shame on you.
Yeah.
Right?
First, we're all Fed fans here, by the way. Yeah. We should let you know that.
No, I am a huge fan. What do you want? You're not the only ones out there.
Hey,
we know.
What is that like? I mean, is that frustrating for you? What's that like?
Actually, well, you have on one side you have people who love Federer, and then they become your haters because you beat Federer.
Right.
On the other hand, you are now know all the statistics to all the players that Federer actually lost in his whole career because you've been clipped to all of those. Especially at Wimbledon. I mean, yes, it is frustrating. Yes, I did won 4 titles. Yes, unfortunately, back in the day when I won my first title when I was 22. Right now, it would be a huge thing because even Coric is 23 and he didn't win a title. I think, right? But back in the day, it was nothing because there was so many young stars coming in. So my 22 was actually old because my age is Djokovic, Nadal, Murray. Well, okay, Murray and Djokovic a year younger. Gasquet, Nadal, Monfils, and they were already out there. Which means me winning a tournament. Well, who is this guy? It doesn't matter. See ya. Where's Nadal? So you see, the difference is I'm actually grateful that I can play, and we're going back to the topic that we all should, be grateful to have Roger, Rafa. Yes, we do. On the other hand, I do know that Rafa and Roger appreciate that they have privilege to play with Djokovic, Murray, and all of us because they do understand that the sport is not only about them. It's about the competition, which they are dominating, but it would not be a competition without the rest of the tour.
Right.
For sure.
And they understand it clearly, and that's the beauty. And it's very good when the sport have the world's greatest players. They know what it is to be the greatest player, and they understand the concept that it's not only about them, that there's a lot of people working as hard as they do, sometimes harder, but they're just not able to achieve those achievements. And they're able to overlook some of the, let me say, their personal benefits in order to give something back to the other players and support them in some way. Let's say like the prize money discussions in Grand Slams. So it's really great for the sport.
Okay, so I have a question. Is that your favorite win?
No.
What's your favorite?
What's your favorite?
First title, Lubicic Zagreb. You playing a quad and his home crowd. It was not 15,000, it was 4,500, but they were all cheering against you. And it was my first title, and I didn't sleep for the last 3 nights, starting from semifinals. It was really, it was stressful. It changed my career. It actually, because of that win, I was able to play against Roger in Wimbledon. Because if that tournament wouldn't happen to me, most likely I would be somewhere around 150 to 200, and I would never make it. You never know.
And now Lubicic is coaching Roger.
Yes, he is. But I have to say, I have to give away I never really understood. When we were shaking hands, he said, just enjoy it. And I never really understood what he meant back then because I was young. Everything was sparking. But now I do understand what it means to be the last man in the field after a week of play. And what he meant enjoying is that those moments, they come and you have to cherish them because they will be gone and you have to still remember them because they happen.
That was good advice.
So tell us, do you dream about that moment when you beat Roger? There's just like,
oh my God,
baby and be like, Daddy beat Roger! Daddy beat Roger!
Jesus, guys. Oh my God! You
Don't
are
pay any
hilarious.
attention to
No,
him.
Don't say anything.
I mean, okay. I expect that question. No, I know there are people out there who really want to know that, including myself. But take us to that moment. You're at Wimbledon, second
Pretty
round.
good thing.
You know, everybody is just like, oh, this is an easy peasy straight sets win for Federer. I
Yeah.
said that. I was
I
at
said
work
that.
saying that.
Believe me, I say that when I step on the court. You know what it feels like when you step on the court, when Roger Federer steps into the center court and the people go crazy. And then, well, actually, no, it was opposite. I step on the court and the people start to clap. Wow, it was nice, actually. So, and then he stepped in and you already have the butt, like, you have goosebumps and you didn't start yet.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot.
It's like they already buried you. They already like half buried you into the ground of the center court, and you didn't hit the ball yet.
But it was amazing, though. It was amazing.
So
I
how did
hated
you-
it, but it was great.
But how did you feel? There was a point in the match where you're just like, I
I
think
think I can do this.
I think I can do this.
If to be honest with you, I started the match and I was playing really well. I mean, most likely it was one of my best matches on grass I played in my career. And I lost a set, and according to the commentators, afterwards when I watched it,
I know you did.
this is just what the doctor ordered, a tough first set, now it's going to go smoothly. But I was sitting on the bench and I said, yeah, I lost the first set, but then I realized that actually I had a break point and he did not. And that made me go like, wait, which means I had an opportunity to break him. He couldn't break me, which means I was actually better than him in this set, although I lost it. And from that moment I said, okay, let's try just to hold the serve more and see where it's gonna end. And I just have to say, I was playing. I was playing some really, really incredible volleys out there that day, and I just was able to pull it through. I didn't actually believe. I think when I lost my first match point at 6-4 serving, and I lost it, I was walking towards the back line. I said, okay, well, here you go. You had 2 match points against Roger Federer. Now you lost it. Bravo, great stuff. you did well.
Oh, you know what? This is exactly what I think you are thinking. I'm happy to know that I am right.
You're already soothing yourself. And there you go.
Yeah.
Match points against Roger is almost like winning a match.
But see, you
pretty
went
good.
one better. That's pretty good.
So what happened when you did win?
Well, first you don't believe that you actually win. Really, that backhand mistake, it was like, I don't know, it was like a gift from the heaven. I didn't expect that to happen at all. I was like...
Nor did I. Just so you know.
No, I honestly, let me say that, from the moment that we finished the match, I don't remember anything up to the press conference. And actually, the only thing I remember from press conference is that what I said to the press about that I kicked his butt or whatever, because that went hilariously somewhere everywhere on the. I don't remember a thing. It was just emotionally completely burnt out.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Did Roger say anything to you?
If he definitely did, but I don't freaking remember.
That's kind of the worst part of it, I think.
Yeah,
I
think
you're
it
in
is.
A high and you can't really even process all of it.
It's like you just. I never been high or took drugs, but there was, I think, that kind of feeling you have when you do.
No. If you can remember that high, could you try to relive that high whenever you meet Novak? Try to be like, I need that high again. I need that.
I just guess you're not a big Novak fan, aren't you?
I'm not saying that.
Listen,
please,
Sergey, I am not a Novak fan at all. I'll put it out there. It's no secret. I am not a Novak fan.
But I'm just saying, Sergey, you should have one of those moments again at Wimbledon. You should.
Well, you know what? It was shocking.
Not against Roger, though. Not against Roger.
But no, you know what it is though, Sergey. The thing
don't
about
worry,
it was shocking. we don't have shocking Novak moments like that anymore.
Exactly.
Well, he lost to Vesely in Monte Carlo.
No, it's got to be a slam. It's got to be a slam.
Yeah,
a slam, a slam.
I'm sorry, guys, but for me, the biggest compliment of it all was the next year when the draw was made. That Roger said that we're in different parts. For me, that was like a biggest, because I didn't want to see him near me too.
I thought you were gonna get that Serena Maria kind of clash up, right? Every time I'm seeing him, I'm gonna crush him. I'm gonna crush him.
No.
So what are you excited about on the ATP Tour? Are there any players that you're looking forward to that you enjoy watching, young guys? What are you excited about?
I believe we have a really perspective future stars. Dominic Thiem is performing extremely well. Zverev is growing not by day, but by night, by minutes. I mean, when I saw him end of last year, he was still a little immature in his game and his movement, but now he's so much stronger, so much different than he was end of last year.
I'm guessing you didn't watch today's match then.
Team again. No, unfortunately, I'm not really able to watch.
You might put an asterisk against that
I work 8 hours a day. I mean, what you want? When exactly you want me to watch matches? When?
You know what we like to tell him when he gets like that. Just Sergey, give us a good one. Tell him, shut it, Realz.
You might be in timeout, okay?
You've been removed from the call.
That's right.
So who else? Zverev, Thiem.
I mean, we have a bunch of Fitz, Chorich, Kyrgios, although he's controversial. I mean,
how do you feel about him?
I like him.
I kind of love him.
She loves him.
He brings some excitement. Let's be honest, tennis can be kind of boring sometimes, right?
Yes. Yeah. Well,
he brings some excitement.
It's it's different. Well, the thing is that when Roger came, he changed everything. And I'm being really honest, because he even changed some things for me. When I started to have press conference, I started to treat them differently. Although I'm still much more open, but you do say things which before you wouldn't say, because he started to say them, and everybody saw him, and everybody really, I mean, I guess not only me, I admire him as a person and as a tennis player, because I think he's just, he is still great.
Well, you two are friends, right? I mean, you're friends off court, aren't you?
I mean, I don't know a guy who he's not friends with.
Fair enough.
So I guess
next time you hang out with Roger, could you tell him you got 3 friends? Just wanna.
Sure.
Okay. I'm working it here, Andre. You know what? You're not invited. Sergey, Andre, just two people, okay? We'll send you pictures.
No, fine. But yeah, the tour changed. It changed with Fed.
Yeah, and then of course we all became the same. I love to watch the interview when I think it was 99 interview Ivanišević when he beat Woodford, yes, in US Open second round. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's one of the most hilarious interviews I've ever seen, and I think that's how the interviews sometimes should look like. Because we all come in there, we say, yeah, well, he played great, I was just a bit more lucky. I mean, it's the same sentence
it's so boring.
150 million times. I understand we have to show respect to the opponent, but sometimes, I mean, we could really say what we really think instead of just saying.
Sergey?
Yeah.
Well,
I want somebody to go in a press and say, you know what, that was fucking easy. That's what I want.
That's what Kyrgios is doing, huh?
I hope. I don't know, but
no. But the thing is, I understand. But we all, at the end of the day, I receive threats pretty much frequently.
Really?
Yeah, of course you do. I mean, because people are crazy, and you don't want to create more precedent. You're gonna say, well, look, he didn't play well today. I just rolled over him, and then and this guy is, I don't know, Australian, and then you have 150,000 Australians say, you disrespectful something. I mean, it has something to do with respect about your opponent. I agree. So maybe players should, they should say something more about them than about the opponent.
Yeah.
But sometimes I feel like, when we lose and they say, yeah, I just played terrible. I think I played one of my worst matches, blah, blah, and you don't give any credit to the guy who actually played well, it's also a bad thing. So, I don't know. I don't have the answer for you right now. I believe that every player should make up his mind according to him and just be honest with himself in the first place, and then be honest with the public.
This has been fun.
I love it. So, I think...
Did we get through all our fabulous questions?
We did. So let's have a little bit of fun before we let you go, okay?
Sergey, I gotta say, Sergey, you have to unblock me on Twitter. But if you don't want to, that's fine. But that's okay. That's you make up your mind and be honest with yourself.
This
Can
is
Reels
the
be on
quote
my
of the
timeline?
day. Jesus, wait, I'm going right now to my Twitter. Jesus.
But I have to say,
You have to
you have
unblock Real's
just
tennis fan.
what is he? But I have to say, Sergey, from this interview, you have moved up. You are in my top 5 players. You're definitely sitting next to Roger Federer at my table of players.
No, you're not.
Wait, what is your nick? Realz Tennis? Because Jesus.
That is great. Yeah, I love seeing that you're blocked.
ENIS. When I say my top 6, not that top 6, Andre.
Oh,
Not that top 6.
We need to also get top 6. Thanks.
But
Okay,
you're
so
definitely a
Dennis?
top player. I am definitely enjoying this interview. I swear to
Pleasantly
God.
surprised. I was a little nervous that you
Actually,
might.
no. I've interviewed you before in person, Sergey.
Really?
I know it's a trick.
But anyway, I told them, I said he's a really good person. And Janina made it happen, and I'm so happy.
Okay.
But
So can we have a little fun
yes.
before we let you go?
Jeez, I cannot find you on Twitter. How am I supposed to unblock
I'll send it to you, and you can unblock.
But somehow you found me when you blocked me, didn't you?
Well, apparently I didn't like your tweets.
I know. He was like Sloan. He was like block. He didn't even care.
Maybe I was in a bad mood that day. I don't know.
That's okay. You're not the only one.
I'm sorry, I was not tolerant.
You have real reason to block me, perhaps. The others, they're just haters.
So, Sergey, coffee or tea?
Tea,
Books or movies?
books,
Chocolate or vanilla?
chocolate.
Hugs or kisses?
Both.
Dancing or singing?
Dancing.
Wine or beer?
Wine.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Call or text?
Call.
Money or fame?
Morality.
Last one, sunrise or sunset?
Sunrise.
Thank you, sir.
Oh no! Wait!
You gotta get the top 6, hon.
All right.
Wait, yes, but
Everyone that comes on our show, we've never had a player do it, so this would be fun. You're totally getting on the spot here.
Everyone who goes, oh, let's didn't have a player. Oh, okay.
No, we've not made a player do it, but you know what? You seem like you're fun, easygoing, so you're it. We always give our top 6 players. Who do we like? Who do we want to hang out with? Who do we want to have drinks with? Who would we maybe like to go out on a date with?
Andy,
top 6.
No, he's a married man. Janina,
Oh, no dates. I forget.
No, I would love to go on a date with my wife.
Okay, there you go. That's perfect. So not a date.
Who do you want to hang out with?
Who do you think would be fun?
On the ATP and WTA. Make some friends, Sergey. This is an opportunity for make friends on the WTA.
Look, I actually hang out. I have really good relationship with all our Ukrainian WTA players. With the Kichenok sisters, Tsurenko, Svitolina, Savchuk, Bondarenko. I have really good relation with all of them. So it's not that I don't have friends with WTA. I mean,
they're not friends. They're country women.
Okay. What about I don't know. Let's put Shafarova.
Okay.
Lavachkova, Hradecka, okay, you can put all the Czech in, and then you can put all the Slovak in.
Ooh, can you say hi to Daniela for me?
Huh?
Say hi to Daniela for me.
I will, definitely will. You want me to send her a text, or you want me to call her?
Both. Tell her she's in real top 6 list.
Oh,
yeah, that's true.
I'm
that
in trouble.
Really
I am in trouble.
No, you're not. So top 6, Sergey. Top 6.
Top 6 of who? Of who I want to hang out with?
Yes.
I'm hanging out with them already.
Oh, nope, Sergey.
Okay. I don't know. Jesus.
Well,
usually, for instance, because we do hang out a lot together, anyways.
Is he as crazy as we all think he is?
No, just on court. Really, I sometimes don't really even cannot imagine how is that possible. That because in real life he's the quietest, the most modest person, and intelligent one of I know in the tennis players. And just on court, sometimes it's a devil.
I guess this happens. This is like Murray. People say that all the time. It's like, I don't know. It's a little schizophrenic on court.
Well,
different.
The Murray is a bit aggressive towards his team. Misha is usually aggressive against himself.
Exactly. Right?
Self-attacking. Yeah. But top 6. I mean.
Wow,
guys,
you're gonna go have a beer. Okay, you're gonna have to. You ever go to beer with those folks? You're like, not a beer, a glass of wine. I want to share a glass of wine. I'm stuck in this
glass of wine. It was a French, of course. A bottle of wine was a French, guys. I don't know. Fabrice Santoro, Mahut, Herbert. I don't know.
Oh yes, definitely say hi to Herbert. Definitely say hi to Herbert.
All his
favorite. Say more than hello. Tell him to follow Real.
Pui, if I want to drink tea, I'm gonna go have it. I don't know, with James Ward.
No, okay, we get you.
Okay, Sergey, you've been great. This has been a lot of fun.
You've been amazing.
Thank you, guys. You've been great too.
You are so. And thank you for staying up late. Oh, and one more question. Tell us something that the fans who are hating on you all the time. Tell them something that they don't know about you that you would love for them to know, but can't fill 140 characters.
The people who hate me?
Yeah.
I don't know.
The people who have formed their opinion about you just based on your Twitter feed. That's what we mean.
Well, I'm sorry that they have that feeling about me. I mean, I'm just a regular person who is trying to do the things that he loves in life. He's playing tennis, who have a fantastic family, who actually is very happy with his life. Financially, not always, but
welcome to the club, boo.
But he's very happy with the way I went through the life. I believe I went from really, really low down below to something where I can afford living, a very decent living. I have to say, I'm very grateful. I have 2 brothers which are all very smart, and I'm the stupidest one in the family. Because they both have, one is a petroleum engineer, the other one is a surgeon, urology. So, I mean, I'm really the dumbest one in the family. But, I mean, I'm really grateful.
You're fit, so that helps. So.
Exactly. You got abs.
Yeah, go and check my brother, okay, Leonard Stakhovsky, and then you tell me something about abs. Right?
Okay, well, we're trying to give you something, Sergey.
Exactly. And definitely, Sergey, I would go check. Where does he live?
Penn State.
Oh, he lives in the U.S.
Yeah, he studied.
That's fine.
He was playing at college tennis. He just
that's
finishing petroleum engineering
in Philadelphia.
In Penn State. No, Penn State. It's Philly. Yeah.
If Pierre follows me, don't give him my number. But if he doesn't follow me, definitely give Leonard my number.
First he has to unblock you, and then
exactly.
I think I already did that. Didn't I?
Oh,
Let me check.
It'll be fun.
Yeah. Sergey, we really.
All right, Sergey. We look forward to seeing you in Wimbledon. We know that you love the grass, and we love watching you play there because you like to serve and volley.
I'm actually living in 10 hours from now. I'm going to Manchester for the first grass court tournament.
Okay.
A tryout
Right.
grass, and then the schedule is Stuttgart, Halle, Nottingham, and Wimbledon, and most likely Newport after that.
Oh, fun! Those are great tournaments. Yep.
I'm now following Sergiy Stakhovsky again.
Officially.
Okay, when you guys fight, which is inevitable, just don't block him again.
No, I would DM you, Sergey. I sent Janina. So, Janina, can you tell Sergey not to say that? Or he needs to expand on that, okay?
All right.
Gonna call Pierre, and I don't want to get mad. I can't get mad at Sergey. He's my in to the locker room with the ATP.
Okay, there you go.
Thank you, Sergey. We really, really appreciate this. It's such an amazing interview, and you're an amazing guest.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much for inviting. Thank you.
No problem.
Good night, everyone.
Take care.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
And we're about to get off the air. Ladies, Janina, again, let me publicly thank you so our fans know you are amazing. Kato Kalinov podcast. People could be so lucky to get her.
See, aren't you glad I never went away?
I know, right? And Andreen, amazing. This is such an amazing. That's such a wonderful podcast.
We're like happy. We're stroking ourselves.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as we did because Sergey was lots of fun.
Yes, he was. And no filters, people. And that's not me making a fake Ukrainian accent at all. That's really the real Sergiy Stakhovsky. And you can check my Twitter to see that I'm no longer blocked by Sergey.
Okay, that's really true.
Don't forget to comment, people, and yes, that's how you really feel. All right, have a good day, people. Thank you.
Ciao.
Ciao.